Tonight's top stories. The palace clarifies that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered that all government funds be properly allocated according to need to improve the lives of Filipinos. Concerned government agencies continue the arduous task of limiting or even preventing flooding in various parts of the country, despite the continuous heavy rainfall of late. The House prosecution panel insists that there was nothing wrong with Attorney Ligutan's comment on social media regarding misleading questions during cross-examination. All these and more on PTV News Tonight.
Good evening. Welcome to PTV News Tonight. Former DPWH Chief Manuel Bonoan, now under detention for his role in a flood control scam, made a big reveal in his testimony before the Sandigan Bayan yesterday on the Bulacan Flood Control Project malversation case. His disclosure that all centers allegedly had allocables or leadership fund insertions of at least 500 million pesos each was in the 2025 GAA. And that's as far as it goes, as Palace spokesperson Claire Castro maintains in her pushback earlier today that our Clazel Paradilla covered in this report.
Kung nangyari po ito sa panahon noon, hindi po ito mangyayari sa ngayon.
There was no leadership fund allocated by the Department of Public Works and Highways for senators in the 2027 National Expenditure Program or their proposed national budget. Malacanang has assured this following the revelation of former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan before the Sandigan Bayan that the agency had allegedly allocated 500 million pesos each as a leadership fund for every senator to fund priority infrastructure projects for all lawmakers in 2025.
No leadership fund under 2027 budget. All projects proposed in the 2027 DPWH budget are based on needs of the local and regional governments.
The palace said there is nothing wrong with senators' infrastructure projects as long as they are legitimate and benefit the public. But Malacanang insisted.
Ang nangyayari lamang po ngayon ay napakaingat po ng Pangulo, napakaingat ang DPWH at napakaingat ng DBM para kung ano man yung pang-aabuso na nangyari way back na nakita na noon, 2018 pa, ayaw po mangyari ito ng Pangulo.
The submission of project lists by some officials to the DPWH drew scrutiny after some projects were found to be allegedly non-existent and used for kickbacks. In his State of the Nation address, President Marcos mentioned his cousin and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, who could face charges in connection with the flood control mess. This came as former Senator Revilla and Senator Jinggoy Estrada were arrested and were allegedly behind some of the questionable flood control projects. But Caloocan Representative Egay Erice is not convinced, calling the president's move a matter of optics. He said the chief executive could not have Romualdez arrested because the insertion of funds would not have happened without the cooperation of the entire administration, a claim the palace pushed back against.
Ito ay iniisip niya lang. Nakausap niya ba yung Pangulo ng diretso para malaman niya kung anong damdamin ng Pangulo patungkol dito sa mga tao na nasasangkot sa flood control mess? Kasi kung hindi niya nakausap ang Pangulo at hindi niya alam ang damdamin ng Pangulo, huwag siyang magsalita. Huwag siyang magsalita na parang may alam siya sa sinasabi ng Pangulo. Wala siyang karapatang maging spokesperson ng Pangulo. Unless papalitan niya ako dito.
Malacanang also hit back at Erice's criticism that the proposed budget was filled with only aids and had no allocation for infrastructure. Based on the 2027 NEP, the education sector received the largest budget allocation, a reflection of the administration's focus on improving the quality of education. Next is the DPWH, Health and Defense. The administration is also strengthening disaster response with 31 evacuation centers set to be built next year. Kalezal Pordilia for the Nation.
Presidential intervention has speeded up a flood mitigation project in Cebu City, which is nearly 40% through, while the president's inspection and political will has led to a nearly complete collection and disposal of debris and garbage at Baclaran River, thanks to around-the-clock and joint efforts of the DPWH, MMDA, and Parañaque and Pasay LGUs. Our J.M. Thompson fills us in with the details.
Dredging operations and the installation of nature-friendly gabion walls are ongoing to widen the Butuanan River in Barangay Bakayan, Cebu City. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, has completed 37% of the ongoing flood mitigation project. This is in accordance with the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to speed up the implementation of flood control measures for the residents of Villa del Rio 1 and its neighboring areas, in connection with the areas damaged by the flash flood during Typhoon Tino. This is expected to slow down the flow of water and prevent flooding. Meanwhile, the cleanup at the Redemptorist Water Channel in Barangay Baclaran in Parañaque City is continuous, and according to Mayor Edwin Olivares, the trash trap that was damaged and was one of the reasons why garbage was washed away and accumulated in the water channel has been repaired. Since a portion of the water channel is in Pasay City, the two LGUs along with the MMDA worked together to fix the trash trap.
Pero ang gagawin po natin dito, nag-usap po kami ni Chairman Artes, magiging 2 layer po ito para at least kung masira man yung isa, kasi sa lakas ng current, yung ating high tide, 2 po siyang barrier na ilalagay po doon. Para yung trash po natin, ma-intercept po natin, doon pa lang sa mouth at magkaroon po tayong clearing po doon.
Meanwhile, the Valenzuela City LGU noticed the change in the situation of some parts of the city due to clearing and dredging operations.
Kung maaalala nyo last year nung Karina, yung Paso de Bras dito sa NREX, underwater to for 6 hours. In fact, nagsara yung NREX ng 6 na oras nun. Talagang standstill yung mga sasakyan dito.
The DPWH, together with other government agencies, assure that their intensification of flood control projects will continue, including the expansion of drainage systems, the operation of pumping stations, and regular cleaning of esteros and other waterways. Our fellow countrymen are repeatedly reminded about proper waste disposal, which will help reduce flooding in the country. J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered several government agencies to focus on fixing the waste disposal system following the shocking appearance of sea of garbage in the cities of Pasay and Parañaque after continuous rain brought about by the southwest monsoon or habagat. Kenneth Paciente tells us more in this report.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. personally witnessed what appeared to be a sea of garbage at the Jokno pumping station in Pasay and at the Redemptorist Water Channel in Baclaran. This after the garbage was swept into the areas by the unrelenting rains brought by the southwest monsoon. Thus, concerned government agencies are focused on fixing the system for proper waste disposal, also in line with the President's directive. According to Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, the DNR's 196 trash traps are now operational to ensure the proper collection of floating debris from rivers and waterways. Around 1,500 estero rangers and river warriors have also been deployed for cleanup activities and the clearing of waterways.
Meron din pong Adapt an Estero program na meron na po tayong 20 active adopters in the private sector. Kumbaga, sila yung mag-a-adapt ng certain place para manapanatili itong malinis. So, marami pong mga programa ang Pangulo. At, pero kahit ano pong ganda ng programa ng Pangulo, kung hindi rin po makikipagtulungan ng ating mga kababayan, at tuloy-tuloy po silang magtatapon ng basura.
Armando admits that their job of collecting floating garbage is not easy, but he says it is still worth it as long as they have a source of income and can help the environment.
Ang sistema po kasi niyan, hahakutin namin ngayon, mawawala, maubos na. Mga isang araw lang, 2 araw, nandiyan na naman.
Malacanang also reminded those hired to work in garbage cleanup to take their job seriously. These after some were reportedly doing nothing more than photo ops.
Nakita po natin na ito yung nag-viral, na yung iba ay magpapa-picture lang. Kunwari may basurang winalis, pero after that ay aalis na rin. Minsan sila pa yung nagtatambak ng basura para ipakita may basura sa lugar. Wawalisin nila, and then after that, nandun lang. So, ang gobyerno po ay binibigay po ang lahat. Kayo po ay hinahire para kahit papano ay meron kayong mapagkakitaan, pero gawin niyo po yung inyong obligasyon dahil hindi po naman kayo hinahire at binabayaran para gumawa lang ng mga fake videos.
The president earlier said the government is looking to push the Waste to Energy initiative to put garbage to good use. DOE Secretary Sharon Garin said the 9,000 tons of garbage collected daily in Metro Manila could generate 200 megawatts of electricity. Possible sites for the facilities in Rizal, Navotas, and Tondo are now being evaluated. But the government will ensure compliance with environmental requirements to prevent the facilities from adding to emissions.
This is a generation project, so it does not require any GAA kasi energy is a deregulated industry on generation. So yung mga proponents natin, ang gagastos, babayaran lang natin siya sa energy na produce niya.
Meanwhile, nearly 300 schools across the country remaining as evacuation centers due to the onslaught of typhoons Maymay and Luis, as well as the southwest monsoon. Malacanang stressed that the government is further strengthening the implementation of the Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act.
Ito po, ang plano ay magkaroon po ng 16 more evacuation centers na ipapatayo at ipapagawa ngayong taon. At 16 evacuation centers for 2026 at 32 for 2027. So yan po ang proposal so far ng DPWH. At ang matarget po ay magkaroon tayo ng evacuation centers.
Kene, pasyente for the nation.
Senators Juan Miguel Zubiri and Christopher Bongo denied the allegations made by former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan related to the infrastructure and priority projects under leadership funds. Senator Panfilo Lacson, meanwhile, renewed the call to abolish the said allocable in the national budget. Bernard Ferrer has the full report.
Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri denied that Senator's project list passed through his office when he was still Senate President. This came after former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan claimed that each senator was given an infrastructure allocation of up to 1 billion pesos under the Leadership Fund. Bonoan is currently facing plunder and graft charges before the Sandigan Bayan in connection with alleged kickbacks from flood control projects.
For the record, Mr. President, and you know this, and many of our colleagues know this, all the senators know this, I never handled project lists. All requests were coursed through the Senate Finance Committee. For the record, as Senate President, I never requested, held, or handled any list of project requests from senators.
Zubiri said there is nothing wrong with budget amendments intended to fund roads, bridges, airports, seaports, and other vital infrastructure projects in underserved communities.
Almost all legislators, and I want to put this out, almost all legislators, except maybe for Senator Ping Lacson and a few, from senators to members of the House of Representatives, introduce amendments to the budget. But look at Iloilo City, he's my idol on how he was able to develop his own area through institutional amendments, Mr. President. And it is our responsibility to bring much needed development to communities that we have long left behind.
Zubiri emphasized the main issue is not the inclusion of budget amendments itself, but whether the projects are legitimate, properly implemented, and free from any corruption intervention. Senator Christopher Bongo also denied Bonoan's claim that he had a list of priority projects that would supposedly be funded under the Leadership Fund.
Siya ang akusado, it would be best that he focuses his defense on proving his innocence rather than dragging our work as legislators into their mess. Dinamay pa kami ni Senator Robin.
Meanwhile, Senator Panfilo Lacson renewed his call to abolish the Leadership Fund or the allocables in the national budget.
Hindi dapat paki-dip ng fingers yung mga congressmen, mga senators sa budget preparation because that is within the domain of the executive down to the local levels, mga LGUs. Dapat walang pakialam. Ang pakialam ng congressmen and senators doon sa tinatawag na authorization phase.
Senate Committee on Finance Chairperson Senator J.V. Hercito assured that reforms in the 2027 proposed national budget will continue.
No more amendments or insertions during BICAM. Mangyayari lang yung amendments or insertions during plenary sa budget deliberations mismo. Pag meron hong pangangailangan, may kulang, tingin yung ahensya o mga local, do it on the floor.
Hercito said the budget reforms will strike a balance between accountability and economic progress. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
In the meantime, Defense Counsel Attorney Ferrer argued that misleading questions are allowed. Immediately after Counsel for Prosecution Attorney Kapunan said otherwise during yesterday's impeachment trial. This led to Attorney Ligutan's social media post, which the defense team called as a violation to impeachment rules. Vel Custodio has more details in this report.
Impeachment prosecutor insisted that there was nothing wrong with Attorney Amando Virgil Ligutan's social media post yesterday. In the post, Ligutan said the misleading questions are not allowed in the court. This statement was questioned by Vice President Sara Duterte's defense team. The post was reportedly referring to the exchange between Attorney Lorna Kapunan and Attorney Christine Ferrer during yesterday's cross-examination of a witness in the impeachment trial.
Not all questions can be answered by yes
I am
or
on
no.
cross, Your Honor, please.
Counsel.
Never mind if you're on cross. There are limits to cross-examination. Misleading questions are not allowed.
They are allowed.
Because of Ligutan's post, the defense argued that it has already violated the impeachment rules.
And the rules on impeachment under Rule 18 actually prohibits participants, especially lawyers, from commenting about the merits of the case.
Counsel for Prosecution and spokesperson Attorney J. Tolosa said they saw nothing wrong with the post.
Sa amin palagi, wala kami nakikitang naging masama doon. Dahil unang-una, meron bang siyang sinabi na hindi makatotohanan? No? Wala naman ho. Totoo naman talaga yun. No? Either direct or cross-examination, hindi pinapayagan ang misleading questions. No? So, at mas importante, tulad ng sinabi niya, it was not made with malice.
Representative Chel Diokno also explained that the post did not violate the sub judice rule because Ligutan's statement will not affect the outcome of Vice President Duterte's case.
Hindi naman bawal na magsalita tungkol sa isang pending case. Ang mga desisyon ng Korte Suprema, klaro naman, sabing ganon, ang pinagbabawal lang yung any statements that are intended to influence the outcome of the case.
The prosecution also said that if the sub judice rule is being raised, Vice President Sara Duterte's statement in the media interviews should also be examined. Among this was Vice President's remark that there was allegedly bending the law in conducting the impeachment trial.
Kung at every turn sasabihin niya may quote-unquote bending the law na ginagawa dito sa loob, kung sa simula pa lang ay gusto niyang sabihin quote-unquote fabricated daw yung evidence, kahit hindi naman po galing sa House of Representatives to, galing po to sa iba't ibang government agencies na pinasa sa kapwa government agency yung meron silang mga records na galing mismo sa OVP, kailangan pong aksyonan yung mga ganong mga sentiments.
Attorney J. Tolosa, meanwhile, challenged the Vice President to stop attacking the integrity of the impeachment court and instead face the trial.
Wala hong kahit sino, no? Either parties in the case or their counsels ang may karapatan na atakihin ang integridad mismo ng korte, no, anong proseso. At maliwanag na yan ang ginawa ng Vice Presidente. Mas maganda, imbes na atakihin ang integridad ng impeachment court, humarap siya dito at sagutin niya ng diretsahan itong mga mabibigat na akusasyon sa kanya.
Val Custodio for The Nation.
Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. believes that the immigration action taken by China against 100 Filipinos is plain and simple extortion and blackmail. Before this, PAOCC Executive Director Benjamin Acorda Jr. claimed that China made a threat to arrest Filipino workers in their country if Chinese workers arrested from a raided steel plant in Misamis Oriental are not released. Patrick De Suz tells us more in this report.
During Thursday's hearing of the Senate Committee on Economic Affairs, one of the matters discussed was the steel plant raided in Misamis Oriental last May, which was allegedly producing substandard steel products and had radioactive materials. 69 Chinese nationals working at the plant were among those apprehended in the raid. Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission or PAOK Executive Director Benjamin Acorda Jr. revealed during the Senate hearing that there was allegedly a threat at the time to also arrest Filipinos in China after the Chinese embassy protested the raid on the Phil Sanjia Corporation steel plant.
Isa lang pong pinagtataka ko kasi on the second day of the operation, right there and then, ay may kopya na ang embahada ng China. Kumpleto sila ng dokumento. Parang mas nauna pa silang nakakuha ng dokumento kaysa sa amin. During their visit to my office, Madam Chair, yan ang isang masakit because after our conversation, sinabihan po tayo na there is a threat na uhulihin din ang mga Pilipino sa bansa nila pag hindi natin pinakawalan ang mga Chinese workers.
Not something to be appreciated at all. Yung ganyang mga banta of simple retaliation para sa legitimate law enforcement operations dito sa ating bansa. Pero hindi yata ito unang pagkakataon na nangyari yan, yung mga pagbabanta dito sa loob ng ating bansa mula sa embahadang iyon. And I know that also from personal experience.
In a press briefing this Monday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry confirmed that special operations were carried out against more than 100 Filipinos who were allegedly living and working illegally in China. The Chinese Foreign Ministry did not directly answer whether this was related to the arrest of Chinese nationals in the Philippines, but said the operations were part of strict regulations against foreigners who illegally enter, live, and work in China. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. condemned the actions taken against the Filipinos. The Secretary called it a form of extortion and blackmail and described it as part of China's interference in the implementation of Philippine laws. Teodoro also defended Filipinos in China, saying they have neither the intent nor the capacity to violate Chinese laws, particularly on the scale of the violations allegedly involving Chinese nationals here in the Philippines. The Secretary hit back at the Chinese government, accusing it of actively covering up the illegal activities in the Philippines, which he considers evidence of complicity. Patrick De Jesus for The Nation.
Public perception of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s administration has bounced back, recording a 14-point jump in the latest social weather stations or SWS survey conducted in June 2026. The administration's net satisfaction rating rose to a neutral or +1 status. This marks a strong recovery following a record low rating in March 2026 of -13. According to SWS, 42% of adult Filipinos expressed satisfaction with the national government's overall performance. The survey highlighted key programs where public trust and approval remain highest, achieving a very good mark on basic education for youth, improving quality of children's education, assisting the poor, and creating employment opportunities. The administration also scored good mark in science and technology development, housing implementation for the poor, ensuring food security, defense of national sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea, and ensuring efficiency in public transportation. SWS noted that this rebound signals a steadily improving public sentiment toward essential government services and key policy initiatives. The combined assault of Tropical Storm Luis and Typhoon Maymay plus the relentless southwest monsoon over a nearly 2-week period has laid ruin to agricultural production in the Luzon mainland to be sure. But the extent or magnitude of the damage is not as severe as one might assume or surmise. Our Elijah Canlas tells us why.
Despite onslaught of weather disturbances in the southwest monsoon, the agriculture sector remains resilient, according to the Department of Agriculture or DA. Despite the recorded 197 million pesos damage in crops, infrastructure, and other agricultural assets. According to Agriculture Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa, the biggest damage was recorded in the rice sector at 143 million pesos, followed by vegetables and high-value crops at 30 million pesos, while irrigation facilities suffered 15.8 million pesos in losses. De Mesa added that while more than 6,700 hectares of rice fields were affected, most only suffered partial damage and may still recover with the help of the department's interventions. The DA also assured that seeds, fertilizers, and other farm inputs are ready for the immediate rehabilitation and replanting for affected farmers.
Meron tayong more than 110 million na worth ng mga preposition items kagaya ng mga binhi ng palay, mais at gulay. At anytime na ready na uli yung ating mga magsasaka na magtanim after ng ating mga rehabilitation recovery effort, available nito agad. Ito yung utos ng ating Pangulo at ni Secretary Kiko na for immediate recovery.
De Mesa stressed that the damage is not expected to a major impact on food and rice prices as the lost production is small compared to the country's total harvest.
Yung value at saka yung volume na nawala po dahil dito sa dalawang bagyo, si Luis, si Maymay at saka po yung sa Habagat, napakaliit na bahagi lang po nito ulit, 4,500 metric tons, kumpara doon sa annual production natin na 20 million metric tons. So dahil po dyan, wala po tayong inaasahan na paggalaw sa presyo ng ating agricultural commodities, lalo na po yung sa bigas.
He also said the DA has prepared financial assistance programs for affected farmers and fisher folks, including the Survival and Recovery Loan Package.
Ito po ay 25,000 pesos. Wala po itong collateral, wala rin po itong interest na pwede po nilang bayaran up to 5 years.
The department continues to coordinate with other government agencies and local government units to ensure the fast and fair distribution of assistance, maintain the prices of basic commodities, and strengthen the agriculture sector against future disasters. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
For 3 long years, the Maysan Road in Valenzuela has been every motorist and commuter's ball and chain. Its pothole and puddle-riddled surface has brought extended traffic snags and snarls all along its entire stretch. Today, its past due rehabilitation kicked off with an inspection from DPWH Chief Vince Dizon, as we hear more from this J.M. Thompson report.
The rehabilitation of this road in Barangay Maysan in Valenzuela City is about to start after Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon was informed about the damaged road that is dangerous for residents and motorists for more than 3 years now.
Pinondohan natin ngayon 2026 and dapat nag-umpisa na tayo kaya lang walang tigil yung ulan. Pero pinangako ko kay Mayor na once na huminto ng konti ito, magbumobilize na tayo, magsisimula na tayo.
According to residents and motorists, they have long endured the ordeal on the road because even if asphalt is repeatedly used to patch up the potholes and puddles on the road, they keep coming back with all the daily pounding from heavy trucks.
Sobrang hirap kasi sobrang one of the problems here in Valenzuela is yung lubak na daan. So sobrang struggle siya, especially sa mga commuters as well as sa mga drivers, no. Sobrang delikado kasi pag maulan, alam natin na madulas yung kalsada. So talagang very dangerous siya sa mga tao dito.
The uneven road is also a nuisance to Paul because according to him, it causes heavy traffic that affects commuters, especially students like him.
Lalo pag mga gantong maulan, hindi mo nakikita na hindi na pala patag yung dinadaanan mo since yung mga lubak na fill up siya ng tubig. Babagal tayo magpatakbo kasi ganyan lahat nag-iingat. Tapos ayun, mahirap siya when it comes to, lalo dito maraming school sa part na to maraming nalilate na estudyante dahil sa mga ganyan lubak.
The DPWH, with the help of local government of Valenzuela City, assures their work on Maysan Road will be a long-term solution.
Ang gagawin natin dito, of course with DPWH is yung magandang quality na concrete ang ilalagay at yung bakal, may bakal tayo sa ilalim. Makapal na bakal kasi talagang daanan ho ito ng truck. Ang NLEX kasi dito lang sa kanan natin, ito talaga ang preferred labasan at pasukan ng mga truck.
Because one of the major reasons for the road's damage is the large and heavy tracks passing through every day.
I-divert na rin ho natin ang mga major trucks dito, no? So hindi na natin papadaanin sa Maisan Road except yung mga may negosyo dito along Maisan Road at i-divert natin sila sa EDLEX.
Trucks will be temporarily banned from passing on Maisan Road to Bagong Road starting this August 15 from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday to make way for rehabilitation. Secretary Dizon is expediting the repair of the road to reduce its inconvenience to motorists.
Konting tiis lang to. Sinabi nila 8 to 10 months, hindi tayo papayag doon. Kailangan within 6 months, tapos na tayo dito.
The secretary also emphasized that along with the road repair, they will regularly clean canals and drainages to maintain proper function, order, and cleanliness.
Ang number one na kaaway ng kalye, tubig. Pag ang tubig naiiwan ng matagal, sira ang kalye.
Dizon also encourages our fellow countrymen not to hesitate to report substandard national infrastructure projects to their agency. Residents and motorists are hoping the damaged road will finally end and be replaced with a concrete, flat, and safe thoroughfare. J.M. Thompson, for The Nation.
Vice President Sara Duterte's profanity-laden midnight meltdown in which she threatened the lives of the president, First Lady and former House Speaker may qualify as inciting sedition. A qualified legal opinion coming no less from Palace Press Officer and PCO Undersecretary/Attorney Claire Castro, who weighed in on the issue. VP Sara Duterte video threat after the Justice Department lodged a grave threats complaint against the sitting vice president, citing their pleading is rooted in evidence based on the recorded video presented by the House prosecution panel on its first article of impeachment argument. Castro, a trial lawyer by trade, said the criminal complaint could proceed independently of the ongoing impeachment trial simply because the two cases serve different intent and purpose. Several areas across Luzon has announced the suspension of face-to-face classes this August 14, Friday, due to rains brought by the southwest monsoon or habagat. Here are the specific areas covered by the suspension as announced by their respective local government units. Amid soaring prices of gas and diesel fuel at the pump and close to a fortnight of extreme weather, the MRT-3 railway line has become the choice mode of transport among commuters needing faster trips and seeking shelter from the floods and rain. Little wonder the MRT line posted its highest ridership for the year Wednesday yesterday, when over 492,000 commuters rode it to their destinations in the megacity and elsewhere. This number is the second highest after the volume of 519,318 commuters who took EDSA railway line on the 10th of December last year. The record volume of riders LRT2 in their trips, as well as the half-fare incentive for riders with national ID cards. The Social Security System, or SSS, is eyeing to diversify its assets and boost its long-term sustainability. This by exploring investments in foreign markets, aside from its continued support to the Philippine market. According to SSS President and Chief Executive Officer Robert Joseph De Claro, exploring overseas investments does not mean reducing the fund's participation in the local capital market, highlighting its goal to enhance its existing domestic investments through better diversification. Declaro also said that improved financial position of SSS means greater capacity to pursue investments opportunities. The agency is targeting to grow its reserve fund to 2 trillion pesos by 2030 to secure sustainable social security protection to current and future members and pensioners. The Department of Agriculture, or DA, has lifted the temporary ban on the importation of domestic and wild birds from Japan after the country was declared free from highly pathogenic avian influenza, or HPAI. The DA said a risk assessment showed that the chance of disease transmission through Japanese poultry imports, including day-old chicks and hatching eggs, is now negligible. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. said the move will help ensure food security and provide access to quality breeding materials. He also said the decision will strengthen the competitiveness of the country's poultry industry while protecting public health and agricultural production. However, the DA stressed that veterinary inspections, quarantine protocols, and other import requirements will remain in place to maintain biosecurity. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the expansion of social protection coverage for contract of service and job order workers in the government. Under Administrative Order Number 43, these workers will be allowed to voluntarily deduct and remit contributions to the SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig from their salaries with their prior consent. Based on the order, employers are required to facilitate the process. Covered agencies, including national government agencies, government-owned or controlled corporations, and state universities and colleges, are directed to establish mechanisms to facilitate the participation of COS and JO workers in these programs. Local government units are also encouraged to follow the same provisions. Authorities have distributed over 458 million worth of humanitarian aid and relief supplies to communities affected by the combined impact of tropical cyclones Luis and Maymay, alongside the enhanced southwest monsoon, or Habagat. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDR-RMC, reported 21 deaths, 14 injured, and 3 missing individuals. Benguet logged the highest number of casualties, recording 15 fatalities caused by landslides in La Trinidad, Baguio City, and Atong. Additional casualty-causing incidents were also reported in Rizal and Batangas. The severe weather system has affected more than 3 million people, or over 1 million families across 10 regions. Over 50,000 individuals are currently taking shelter across 553 active evacuation centers. Infrastructure damage has reached over 2.6 billion pesos, while agricultural losses stand at over 340,000 pesos. In the meantime, the U.S. State Department formally requested on August 7, as per an existing treaty with the Philippines, for the extradition of detained and disgraced Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, who is wanted for a host of serious and heinous crimes in the United States. But turning him over could be complicated and long drawn out, given an array of conditions stipulated in the extradition pact, as our Sheila Natividad narrates in this report.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, is currently reviewing the documents regarding the United States extradition request for Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Kibuloy and 2 of his co-accused. The DOJ confirmed receiving the U.S. formal request, which the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, submitted to them on August 7. However, Kibuloy also faces charges here in the Philippines: qualified human trafficking, sexual abuse, and child abuse. These are separate from the cases filed against him in the U.S. He is considered wanted in U.S. for sex trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, sex trafficking of children, conspiracy, as well as bulk cash smuggling.
The state here has the option of whether to, one, proceed with the filing of the petition for extradition and then let it play out in court, or two, to defer any action on filing the petition and wait for the local cases to reach its conclusion.
This is in accordance with the Article 11 of the Philippines-U.S. Extradition Treaty. Under Article 11 of our treaty with the U.S., the Philippines may temporarily surrender a person wanted in the U.S. to face trial there if mutually agreed upon. However, the extradition request may also be deferred until the local proceedings or formal sentencing for the individuals pending charges in the country are concluded.
Extradition court will base its ruling on the limited issues presented before it, which is whether or not the person being sought is extraditable under the Philippine-U.S. Extradition Treaty.
According to the Chief State Counsel, specific extradition proceedings outlined in Philippine law must also be followed. Under the Supreme Court's approved rules on extradition proceedings, extradition is allowed only if the offense is punishable under the laws of both the Philippines and the requesting state. Extradition proceedings will only commence once the Justice Secretary or a designated authorized state counsel files a petition before the extradition court. Once the petition is filed, this court holds exclusive jurisdiction over the case, even if the extraditee goes into hiding elsewhere. The SC extradition rules also state that the extraditee will be detained at an NBI detention facility or near the extradition court. If witness testimonies need to be presented, the extradition court must render a decision within 1 month or 30 calendar days after the presentation of the final witness. If no witnesses are presented after the court receives the final petition, the decision may be appealed before the Court of Appeals or CA and cannot be executed while the appeal is pending. The CA has 3 months or 90 calendar days to reach a decision, and its ruling will be final and executory.
We have to also ensure and validate that the imprisonment that these respondents will face if and when convicted in the United States is at least 1 year and up. We also would have to check na hindi pa prescribed yung offense. We will just try to hasten our action on this because I know that the public is keenly and closely monitoring the developments.
The DOJ maintained that only they and the DFA will coordinate regarding the filing of the petition before the extradition court, adding that this does not fall under any decision from Malacanang. The DOJ also believes that justice must be served, but stresses that legal procedures must be strictly followed before acting on the formal extradition request filed by the United States for Kibuloy. Sheila Natividad, for The Nation.
Southeast Asia is where the greatest economic boom on the planet over the next 30 years will unfold. And for Southeast Asians to better understand how each member fits in to maximize the social and cultural benefits from such prosperity, the language of film could play a key role in helping reach common goals and in communicating shared values. Towards such end, the ASEAN Film and TV Summit kicked off today with the Film Development Council of the Philippines and ASEAN Film Alliance Network sponsoring the event, as our Gab Humilde Villegas reports.
The ASEAN Film and Television Summit was formally opened today by the Film Development Council of the Philippines and the Asian Film Alliance Network, attended by industry leaders, producers, archivists, educators, policymakers, and cultural institutions. First Lady Liza Renete Marcos and National Artist for Film Kidlat Tahimik also attended the event. In his opening remarks, FDCP Chairperson and CEO Jose Javier Reyes emphasized the importance of cooperation among ASEAN countries for the development of the film industry. He said film archiving and education are important to preserve the cultural identity of each country and strengthen unity despite the cultural diversity in ASEAN.
Right now, what we are doing is understanding each other as human beings, as expressed in the language of film, in the language of media, and more so in the language of commonality. It is finding our unity through media that we find ourselves as Asians as well.
Reyes is advocating for media as a platform for deeper understanding and cooperation among Asian countries. He urged attendees to value their heritage and cultural diversity as part of strengthening their identity as Asians. Meanwhile, according to Negros Occidental 3rd District Representative Javi Benitez, the creative industry contributed 2.12 trillion pesos to the economy last year, equivalent to 7.6% of the country's gross domestic product. He also highlighted the 1.314 trillion pesos proposed 2027 budget for education, including nurturing the youth in creating high-quality films and shows. Benitez also urged the strengthening of cooperation among Asian countries in the film industry to preserve and appreciate the rich heritage of cinema.
Let's run this leg together, keep the archives that remember our grandparents, build the classrooms that train our grandchildren, and make the co-productions that let us run shoulder to shoulder across every border in this room. Because the cinema we carry forward is only as strong as the hands we pass it to.
Gab Humilde Villegas, for The Nation.
The Office of Civil Defense Cordillera continues to intensify its monitoring of the impacts of Typhoon Maymay and the southwest monsoon in the region. Based on the latest data, more than 23,000 families or over 61,000 individuals have been affected, while more than 2,000 families have received assistance worth 4.8 million pesos. The agency also reported more than 370 affected roads, 5 bridges, and 108 damaged houses, while 7 roads remain impassable. Meanwhile, the OCD-CAR advised tourists to postpone non-essential travel to Baguio City and Benguet as rainfall continues in the area. And we'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, OPM band Sunkissed Lola has released its newest single, Edi Magalit Ka, now available in all major digital streaming platforms. The song, which centers on choosing love over arguments, was written by Daniel Umbao and Alvin Cerrito, arranged by Sunkissed Lola and produced by the band and Brian Lotho. An official lyric video for the track has also been released on the band's YouTube channel following their 2024 extended play, Hola Hola. Sunkissed Lola is best known for OPM hits including Pasilyo, Pakisabi, Makalimutan Ka, and HKP. Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers reunited on the red carpet for the premiere of Camp Rock 3, bringing back the nostalgia of the beloved Disney franchise. Lovato returns as Michi Torres, the character she first played in the 2008 original, while also serving as an executive producer. The third installment will feature new cast members including Sherry Cola, Liamani Segura, Malachi Barton, and Lumi Paula. The reunion comes after Lovato performed Joe Jonas at the 2025 Jonas Brothers concert, where they sang hits from the Camp Rock franchise. Bikurunga, the New Zealand singer best known for her hit song Sway, is set to perform in the Philippines this October. The concert will be held at the SM Sky Dome in Quezon City on October 1st, with tickets going on sale beginning August 15 through SM Tickets. Runga released her debut album Drive in 1997, which featured Sway, and was later appointed as a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit for her contribution to music. She most recently released the album Red Sunset in February. Filipino weightlifter Albert Ian de los Santos continued to make his mark on the international stage after sweeping 3 gold medals and setting new records at the 2026 Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships. The 19-year-old Zamboanga City Pride dominated the men's 70-kilogram junior division, topping all 3 events. De los Santos first claimed gold in the snatch after lifting 141 kilograms. He then added another gold in the clean and jerk, where he lifted 321 kilograms to break the junior world and Asian records in the 70-kilogram division. The rising Filipino lifter also made headlines last May after posting a record-breaking 187-kilogram clean and jerk at the IWF World Junior Weightlifting Championships in Egypt. The Philippine fencing team has claimed 2 gold medals at the Southeast Asian Fencing Federation or SEAF Cadet and Junior Championships in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The Philippine women's foil team, composed of Victoria Idane, Willa Galvez and Jody Tan, defeated Team Vietnam 44-37 in the championship round on Tuesday to secure the gold medal. Galvez led the national team's campaign in the finals after delivering a dominant 10-1 victory over Vietnam's Nguyen Thi Nang. The Philippine men's team also claimed gold in the men's saber team event after beating Thailand 45-40 in the final round. With these victories, the Philippines has now tallied 2 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 4 bronze medals in the competition. The SEAF Cadet and Junior Championships will officially conclude this Friday, August 14th. Southwest monsoon affecting Luzon and the western section of Visayas. The southwest monsoon may bring occasional rains in Zambales, Bataan, and Occidental Mindoro. Meanwhile, Metro Manila, Ilocos Region, Cordillera Administrative Region, Cagayan Valley, Calabarzon, the rest of Mimaropa, the rest of Central Luzon, Camarines Norte, Aklan, Antique, and Capiz may experience cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. However, the rest of Luzon may encounter partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. And the rest of the country may expect the same weather condition. And our food for thought tonight comes from Malcolm Forbes, an American publisher and businessman who led Forbes magazine for more than 3 decades. He was known for his entrepreneurial spirit, adventurous lifestyle, and views on leadership and business. And he once said, "Those who enjoy responsibility usually get it. Those who merely like exercising authority usually lose it." And before we end our newscast, please take the time to like, subscribe, or share PTV's social media pages flashing on your screen right now. It would go a long way, and we would truly appreciate it. And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Jay Esteban. Join us again tomorrow on PTV News Tonight.